seeing one of these teams, and we will be seeing one of these teams exit. However, it could be Mouse if they do not take this map pick. Their tournament lifeline on the line. They could be exiting IEM Winter 2021 early. They do have that CT side, though.
All right, well, that could definitely help them out here, but Astralis obviously being pretty solid on the T side of most maps, and Glaive on the raid boss with the Tech 9 armor just gets taken out immediately. Config with the Goosh. Picks up that Techie. He's got that to work with. Blameth working outside beautifully, though. He's found a pick. Cleaning up that Goosh player on acoR. Creating pressure on outside. This pulls the rotation away from the ramp room. Astralis crab walking into that part of the map. Mouse in a bit of a pickle on the CT side here. I think they've taken some lobby control. They've got players down in lower as well.
Really is some broken round play here. Now Dexter, very forward position in the heart. Lucky needs to be aware of that as he will traverse in. Now Config is going to go in, raid boss style. Put this work out in Dexter's favour. The jump is good. He's good for one. And now they have control of this upper bomb site unless Bemis has something to say. Actually, there's a firing squad all the way in Annex, so it will be a bit of a standoff as they do get that bomb plant down. A lot of work for Blameth and Zipmix to do in this situation. So they do the dance around the silo. Blameth picks up one there, combining nicely. And Astralis proving difficult to manage in these sort of situations. Frozen, he needs to get out of there quick smart. He's out of bullets. The quick reload is no good. And Zipnix will take that round quite nicely. Astralis pulling that round out of the fire. 4 versus 2. And Pilski, if you are mousesports and you want to get yourself back in a series, that's the kind of round you need to take.
Yeah, missed opportunity. They're going to try to get back in the swing of things with a force, though. Second round buys can be a good way to go. Full investment across the board outside of acoR, who's holding a bit of cash in towards round number 4. Sitting on that alt fund, mate.
Oh, that fund's going to appreciate sometime soon. And they are just no frills. CS straight into the top side here. Zipnix is going to check silo. Bemis, not a lot he can do from that position. And the force buy from mousesports is just being drawn and quartered.
Bomb put down pretty early on here. Mouse already weighing up their options about potentially saving, holding on to these weapons to do further damage in the next couple of rounds, and also give themselves an opportunity to find some exits. Inflict further damage over time if they can find it. But I don't think Astralis is going to go biting anytime soon.
Far too controlled for that. Although Glaive might try and make that Mach 10 sing.
Going to keep it over. So Astralis, great pistol. Anti-force goes well for them, keeping things simple. Just a very, very quick one. Straight out squeaky door. Keeping the majority up. So into another anti-eco with a couple of weaponries to worry about. Further pistols being upgraded as well for Mouse. They want that killing potential on all of their players across the board if possible. Because they need to do damage to Astralis here. And a different look from Astralis. Quick outside smokes this time.
Oh, acoR. He's going to be toyed with. Not to be messed with. As config will go down, so... An outside presence has been subdued somewhat. Contact play out squeaky door. And well, Dexter could run into the crosshair of Zipex. He does. Oh, acoR cops a world of damage too. Not necessarily fully committed to topside here, just trying to take those jewels. They're going to back off smartly, Astralis. They've done enough to pull the rotation into the top site. This allows Blameth some space to work with outside.
Yep, and he's going to take it and run with it. Peek on outside incentivizes the lobby push, which is instantly punished. Just the push and pull. Astralis understanding exactly what they have to be doing. And they've got all the angles covered here, Jim.
Frozen cannot make that 5-7 work in quick succession. And easy end to the round. Only losing 2 from the force buy of mouse, so they will have a gun round coming out now. acoR trying to make that AWP work. No doubt Astralis will be aware of this again with their outside presence only being shown for the first time in the last round. But you can see what kind of space they were working with once they got blameF into position.
Always a big win condition of this new Astralis roster. A lot of dangerous players. First gun round here, though, has to go well for mouse. They're running out of space to work with here at IEM Winter. It's not just this series, it's tournament life on the line for these lads. Still plenty of util here for the T's. Astralis potentially sizing up some outside smokes. And with the majority of players over there, we'll see how much they commit to those smokes. It's blameF applying util pressure. Molotov into secret. He's sticking around. Frozen looking to try to take a duel with him as the rest of Astralis shift back towards the lobby side.
Ooh. Frozen finding the timing under blame now. That has pushed Astralis into ramp. Rops will make contact. So the flash to get him off that line. Oh, acoR just holding it down nicely from the elbow. Just missed the grenade and Rops combines. Just keep control of this room now. You kind of back him in most situations, but that's a bridge too far for Zipex.
Oh, gorgeous first gun round. Right from A to Z. Ramp room lockdown was beautiful. Rops and acoR just taking aggro off of each other very, very nicely. Sliding onto all the right angles at all the right times. And it's as clean as you'd want to see it from mouse in their first gun round. Getting that CT economy kick-started very nicely. And they bankrupted Astralis and given themselves very real reset potential. And that could give them a fighting chance into this half.
Nothing spotted by acoR. Oh, okay.
This is a game changer.
That's the splinter cell being inserted into the vent.
Yeah, acoR's posted up on outside, and he could find himself a pretty rude awakening if he makes his way down secret later into the round. And Astralis, they know with Zipnik's down vent, it's all about trying to meet up with him in towards lower, whether it be through ramp room or elsewhere. Astralis, utility pressure on upper, trying to push and pull the CTs around and create enough pressure for Zipniks to activate. You can see him start to move towards Megaton. They get a pinch ramp room here, Jim.
And just like that, I had no idea Zipex was even there. I'll get into the window quickly, but that's non-consequential. The rotation will come through from Mouse, but they are working behind the 8-ball. Amos will not step through that smoke. It is well covered, so if you're Mouse, you've got to start working those picks around the extremity here. Oh, that is such a late lurk from blameF. That's going to be frustrating to deal with if the timing works out. And Mouse, they're only interested in saving.
If they're even allowed to. You got multiple contingency plans on the lurk here for Astralis. Blames in ramp room, blames on outer. Takes the AWP out of the equation. Nade's very, very well placed, anticipating the peak from BMAS. Clean him up, though. And Astralis, they'll be happy with the little bit of damage as well as the round. Definitely can't complain about that. Zipnik's, I mean, it's a classic for him, isn't it? Putting a clinic on Nuke. Couldn't say I expected anything else.
Really is his playground. And Mouse, again, as we said, they really have struggled in this series. Here's a chance to swing things back in their favor. acoR on that AWP. And they're going to run with 2 kits, though, so Frozen and Bemis. Rops had the potential to go for 1 as well as Dexter, but we're going to assume there's some protocols there as to who will carry kits. And Astralis layering those smokes outside. Going to take fast control. The Molotov will break the smoke slightly. That will cause a re-smoke. Now, Zipex. Oh. Rops did not check that. That's unfortunate, as that gives the player advantage now to Astralis, who are going to have the freedom to run this push and pull.
the AD in from Glaive, anticipating the player towards that headshot box. Just great movement and awareness. acoR dealt with quite swiftly, and it just is Astralis finding every single pick. Feels like mouths are just getting picked apart and pulled apart every single bloody part of the map, Jim. It's just ancient all over again, mate.
Astralis really do have that sort of gameplay perfected, though. So that's where it really plays into their hands. And if you're Mouse, certainly feeling the frustration.
I mean, look at Mither in the background.
Yeah, hands on head. I think that's a sign of the times. They're not even going to be allowed to save in this situation. Frozen's going to be jumped on. Ooh, does get config dealt with, but you can just see them start to stream in here, Astralis. They're zoning in on his position.
Yeah, Blaine, hard on the hunt. Doesn't even need to see the bloke. It's actually lucky to clean him up. And Astralis don't need the AWP. That's not their style right now. It would only hinder how fluid they can be on this T side and how much they can move around. They don't want the rigidity of the ult.
A fast and fluid approach is just working for them. Why change what's working? However, if you're mousesports, you have to change something. So tactical timeout will come out from them to just discuss what's been going wrong. They're not dealing with some of this early aggression from Astralis. Do they take matters into their own hands? We've seen teams go aggressive on that CT side, start to collapse on lobby, particularly when early presence is shown outside. Is that an option available to them? I just feel as though Astralis just have way too many protocols in place to be able to deal with that kind of aggression, almost expecting it.
It's relaxed and focused from Astralis. Not taking their eyes off the prize here. Didn't start IEM Winter the way they would have wanted, but once they hit the lower bracket in the BO3, they've just been absolutely killing it. And by it, I mean mousesports. The gun round for the CT side, post timeout. Drops applying a little bit of pressure over towards Radio Room. You're getting spam in through Squeaky as well. And Frozen in towards the backside of Warehouse has taken a lot of damage already.
Really does limit the options available to him in that early round stage.
I mean, you're not feeling confident to take the duel anyway, but knocked down to that HP.
Let's just see whether or not that aggression is going to come through smoke. Oh, almost like clockwork. Blamef expects the push from Frozen.
Yeah.
Turning from the flash outside.
He's read that. He's read that to perfection. The game sense is just impeccable from the man. Now a man advantage from Astralis. They're looking to close this round out towards upper.
Utility streaming onto that top side. Bemis, though, could take matters into his own hands. Has to back off the line. Does not want to face without supporting his teammates. Oh, Zipex just breaking on through. They're not going to check Dexter, though, in the rafters. They're going to trade on into this top side. That favors the T's as they have to back off now, Mouse. acoR and Rops, they do have a kit between them. But what else have they got? The reposition will come through as it's back to 2 versus 2. Got some time to work with.
Yeah, acoR throws himself a one-way. Helps him progress out heaven. He's really just trying to draw aggro for Rops to come in here and activate. But of course, no chance. Glaive turns around at the perfect moment, able to swivel. acoR now on safe territory, but he's so low that I'm not sure he's even going to be allowed to do it. And the flash is already ready. Config tucks that one in.
Oh, this is squeaky bum time for acoR.
Oh, he got away with it. But it's a bit of a wooden spoon award at this point.
Absolutely. Exit frags. Not going to take any further in that round. But, I mean, if you're Mouse right now, you've got to be asking the question, how do we turn this around? Dexter onto that MP9. They're not really having the utility or the weaponry to contest outside. Config is just going to run a muck once he gets up onto that silo. Almost in the habit of still calling it Red Rock. I don't know if you've ever played 1.6, but...
I've seen what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I understand. But yeah, I definitely didn't play 1.6.
We'll forever call it Red Rock. Even though it will take the place, or take the shape of a marshmallow or a silo, whatever you want to call it.
I don't know a whole lot about Red Rock, but I know a lot about Red Rum, because that's what's happening in the server right now, dude.
Lamef again, just waiting out the smokes. Will get passage into Secret. That Molotov is actually just going to give them some space. So start to clear that out. Now Lucky is also going to head towards ramp on point with that bomb.
Actually, don't mind this from ours. This was where they found success previously. The two-man setup between Rops and acoR, but acoR's been pulled away from elbow. The timing's not quite there. He's going to start to reposition, perhaps. Actually, Rops just left to fend for himself, but he's pretty good at that. He's able to at least double down and put Mouse in an advantageous situation, but 2Ts already deep in towards lower. BMAS finds himself surrounded with not much assistance here.
Oh, the grenade just booked his position.
Jeez.
1 HP, he was practically dead on arrival. And now a 3 versus 3 bomb plant will come through. So the regroup is going to happen at ramp. Come through Megaton. They do have some utility to work with here. And more importantly, have that kit on acoR. So let's just see what Mouse can muster. And he's just going to be playing from the dark spot. He can be the pivot man here. He's just going to play with time now. Config prevents that defuse from coming in, and it's back to a 2v1. And as quick as you like, the protocols from Astralis in a post plant were far too strong for Mouse to contend with.
Yeah, there was a glimmer of hope there for a moment, with Rops doubling down from his position, but that's the push and pull of the CT side of Nuke. Even a 2-for-1 can sometimes be favorable for the Ts, you know? If you just take the right territory, you put yourself in solid enough post plants. By the time those duels were taken and that 2-for-1 was found by Astralis, they already just had so much territory on lower that the rotations were going to be too troublesome for Mouse. Half buy in here for Mouse. Trying to get away with some gimmicks. Frozen. He's got some tricks up his sleeve. Flame feels like he's got him checked though.
Flame checks everything. Oh, they even double back.
No bloody way, mate.
If you're frozen, you think you've swindled your way all the way through, but not to be the case. acoR is going to be picked apart, and Bemis, as long as that smoke stays up, he's okay, but he's not long for this world. Config switching to the Glock to finish him off. That's how clinical Astralis are. 8-1. They are looking so untroubled. Timeout 2 from Mouse to talk it over. It's not a case of the economy, Pilskink. They're not being messed around. Mouse, they do have money to buy into these rounds. They're just being outclassed.
Yeah, no other way to put it. Another timeout in for Missa to chat to the boys. I just don't see it coming together for them today. It's got to be disappointing after a month of no officials. It's without a doubt that Mouse is looking forward to a tournament like this. It is the main thing on their calendar. And I'm sure that they have put so much work in, and there have been so many practice hours that have looked promising for Mouse, and they put the scrim work and the prac in. But Astralis just on another level, mate. You're right. Completely outclassed in every category.
At least on Ancient, there were some positives to take away from Mouse. I feel as though those positives have just been erased. Really need to turn the tide back in their favour. Just this slow, methodical approach from Astralis now. They do vary the tempo quite a bit. Has caught Mouse off guard. Oh, that's cheeky, but something that Frozen needs in this round. But BlameF again just keeps on slipping the net. As slippery as you like. Always finds his way through. Now, Dexter may have found a window of opportunity. Or not. Still back to a 3 versus 4. Bemis could be of real impact here in the hut.
Well, Astralis has already turned around a couple of man disadvantage situations tonight. And there's more in them, for sure. They're working their way through outside. 30 seconds on the clock. I mean, they're going to be really running the clock down. And Robs, with his heels firmly planted on that lowest site, has probably just got this one done and dusted.
Freebie for Bemis now. Oh, Rob's just placed on top of the silo. There's nothing that could be done about that line.
Yeah.
And, well, Astralis do lose a round where it felt as though maybe it was about time. Mouse, that was their first real opportunity, though, I will admit. They haven't had a lot of good news their way. There were a few frags that certainly had been missing, those opening entries. Zipnik's being taken out early on in the piece through Squeaky Door certainly helps the cause, but even then, in the mid to late round, Astralis did technically have a lot of territory to work with.
Yeah. Block was not on their side, and if you're going to rely on anyone to close out that slight anchoring role at the end of the round, you're putting Robs there every day of the week. Again, aggression for Frozen on outside. Feels like it's him versus BlameF, Groundhog Day, every day.
Forever. Now, already quite some utility being used here for Mouse. On the piece. Now, Frozen does get one over his opposite number. That was a long time coming, but the trade is going to come in from Config. He's looking for it, and it's good. So they do wrestle control of outside now, Astralis. They will have passage into Secret, should they choose to accept it. acoR is almost immediately activated in that rotation, but
look at that.
The adjustment.
They called the audible. Zipnix has heard the drop-down vent. Called the audible back towards Annex. It lures Astralis into a false sense of security. They think that's the Squeaky Door player rotating down vent, but it's the AWPer. And BMAS still in Annex. Able to deal with that quite nicely. And speaking of the AWPer dropping down vent, acoR comes up Secret and locks it down for Mouse. Oh, there's some signs of life, mate. They are firmly on the ground, bleeding profusely, but you know, I can see an arm moving. There's some twitching in some of the limbs.
There's some movement. Rigor mortis has not set in just yet. Although, Astralis are going to take this time out to just discuss what they need to make in terms of their own adjustments. It feels as though that Mouse have started to work things out, playing a little bit more aggressive early on in the piece outside. They're having a better time taking those duels at Squeaky. So, what do Astralis do on the counter?
Not sure they really need to do anything that different. They're going to be aware of some of the tendencies and some of the successful points of Mouse now. I think Frozen obviously quite aggressive on that outside area. So we'll see if they do start to make some adjustments and try to isolate him. And again, here's the man over towards that Annex side. I'd be surprised if he goes aggressive again. Gonna play towards the smokes. Astralis looks like they're gonna pick up the pace straight into upper. BlameF on the entry this time rather than the lurk towards outside. Dexter's Ray Charles can't see a bloody thing, mate, and that's a triple entry for Astralis straight in towards upper. And that's the adjustment we're talking about. Can either attack the problem directly or indirectly, and Frozen never even got to see a single player that round.
Talk about upping the ante. You're right. Why don't they just run straight into the lion's den? Works for them. Why try and play around the perimeter of the map when they can just smash and grab what they want in this top site? Frozen and acoR. Not as much hope here. That being said, Astralis not necessarily pushing the issue themselves, looking for these exits.
It's got to be so bloody demoralizing, mate. Every round. Guess we're saving again. Frozen rocking the A1S, which looks most like a 70s muscle car.
A lot of grunt. Just been buffed. Well, Astralis run a play now. Could potentially even put Mouse on that back foot. It's not what they want to be. Not what they want to be at this stage of the game. As we said, they've already taken the first map in this series, Astralis, in convincing fashion. Taking Ancient away 16-6, and now solid T-side on Nuke has them in prime position. Frozen just probing what he can through that smoke. Config's gone down to 11. Progression here is going to allow Glaive to continue to aggress. Frozen is aware of the push, but I think timing might actually work out here for Glaive.
It's all timing in rounds like these, but that's the game of cat and mouse that you play on Nuke. Frozen well aware that that cross could have happened in Warehouse, but Glaive, we'll see what timing he does choose. I'm keeping an eye on his teammates. I think maybe this might be a case of they make contact towards ramp and he tries to pick that player crossing towards ladder base. Now pressure on Robs. He's still able to find one off the back of that dink from Frozen earlier in the round, and that is exactly it. As soon as they make contact, Glaive starts to make his move. He did pull aggro away from him, but Frozen's still able to whip around and find that pick regardless, and Mouse making a late resurgence into the half now. Couple of more convincing rounds. acoR from the CT vent line should be able to make work happen. Yeah, beautiful. Posted up on door. Easy as you like.
Uh-oh. Astralis have not got any time to work with whatsoever. They're going to have to just get out of top sight with the tail between their legs. And that is a round gone begging for them. Early positioning, actually, from Glaive outside. Just didn't capitalize on that push. To be honest, there wasn't much conviction in the ramp hit. That may have hindered them somewhat. But we do head into a slight pause now. Astralis, they've been looking to see what they can do with this money.
More time to have a think. Not much time to have a communicate or a chat, as it is obviously a tech pause. We've got the notes printed up and prepared for Ave, which is an interesting succession, as obviously Zonic on the way out, and one of his former teammates stepping in.
Absolutely, that MTW connection.
I'm trying to think if there's another national core of players that has had that same kind of progression in the coaching role. I'd say there's probably something similar in CIS, maybe.
Yeah, Blade.
Yeah.
And, well, Starix as well, with Navi.
Yep.
Or even Threat, with that early NIP rosters. Could have been a potential candidate, but acoR finds early success, just varying it up. That off angle on top of credit card. Now he's even aware of the presence of this silo push too, so he could double down on the success he's had early, but he's just going to continue to push. That actually might catch Astralis out. Blame F on the jiggle. Oh, lucky. Innocent bystander. Cops. So much damage through that box, and now let's just see what Astralis' adjustments are. They're going to go towards that ramp, make contact early on. Robs has got a lot of work to do, and He's going to show himself. Will get away. Frozen though. The insurance policy in elbow. Only good for one. And now, Astralis, do they progress or do they back off?
So many annoying CT positions to deal with. They're going to choose to go down towards lower. Two-man crossfire between Rops and acoR is probably good enough to get it done, considering there's no util for the T's to get in here. acoR got that left side covered off. Rops does get traded out, but effectively put into a 1-on-3 here is blameF. Look, I'm not going to say it's unwinnable, but yeah, BMAS has got it locked down. That's a 5th for Mouse. I don't know, man. I don't know how many rounds they're going to have to put together to make me a believer after that first map, but there's some promising signs here.
Yeah, mate. That's not good. Not good if you are Mouse, but they're starting to chip away at it, right? Like, there was a stage where they were 8-1 down, and we were thinking that this could be a very quick second map affair. However, they've dug their heels in. They started to work out what Astralis were doing, the layering of the utility, the approach that they were taking to outside, just getting Glaive and blameF into positions and working from there. They've made those adjustments, Mouse, and they've been able to get themselves into a far better position than previously thought. And more importantly, too, they've wrestled away a lot of momentum from their opposition, which is not an easy thing to do. This Astralis roster be quite unforgiving when they get a roll on.
Potentially easier round for Mouse to pick up, but Astralis picking up the pace straight down the vent on this half by Blame. Left in lobby with Zipex. Astralis not being contested in towards lower, still not a single CT down here. As Glaive layering some more utility in towards Monster. Trying to buy himself a safe cross to put down the bomb in an open plant position. These pistolers getting up in some of these close angles towards the vent and towards Mega. Could be a recipe for success, and already Lucky's found one.
Uh-oh. That's allowed blameF a window of opportunity. And the CT retake has started to fall to pieces. Question is, how long before they arrive on this lower site? Last round, they have to go for this now. The cavalry is arriving as the crossfires are set up here from Astralis. Lots of work to do for Frozen. He's good for 2. So this just gets interesting towards the end now.
No time.
They don't have time. And that is going to be the round. That is going to be the half for Astralis. They find double digits. And we are going to go into the second half with Astralis again commanding an incredible lead.
But we'll see if they have it in them, Jim. Either way, they have a very, very quick opening pistol here. All the T's going straight in towards upper, finding a lot of those opening frags. Astralis kind of left reeling. About 10 seconds into the round, dropping half their team. It's down to Zipnix and blameF. They can always seem to navigate their way through a lot of these mid to late round situations. 2 of the more clutch players on Astralis of the many. See if they can find an inroads back into this one. Unfortunately, blameF gets taken out of the equation pretty quickly there. Zipnix trying to work his way back in from heaven. But I think it's a task too far, even for this minister. Yeah, he's dispensing some policies right and left, you know.
Somewhat of a sermon.
Yeah.
But it was only a matter of time before the inevitable struck. good start for Mouse. Exactly what they needed getting back into this half. Now, I think from a Mouse perspective, this is the dangerous round for them. There's potentially incentive for Astralis to buy up into this. They're not going to actually spend anything, to be honest. And I don't think that's a bad approach.
I think more often than not, we're used to seeing these second round forces on the CT side, especially on a map like Nuke. You know, a lot of long, close range angles where the pistols can find a lot of success. But Astralis want to potentially take advantage of some of these A1Ss with armor that you can get access to so early on. Nowadays, with the changes, opens up a whole new realm of possibilities.
Utility streaming onto the top side. A few angles to clear, but they do navigate their way through mousesports. So, on plant, only moments away. And Astralis, they're waiting in the wings to see if they can just harass Mouse and potentially take weapons out of their hands. First object of affection is Frozen. And he's good for one, so config deleted. Again, just spotting out the shoulder of Glaive. So, does take some damage from pistols from distance, 5 HP. However, Dexter arrives to save the day. So, Blame F. Been a world of hurt momentarily, but nothing on offer here for Astralis in the round. Very solid from mousesports. They keep it together, only taking that one loss. And that's the kind of momentum, the kind of economy that you need to start building in this half. Obviously, starting to whittle away at that lead, Astralis.
This is where you look at the A1S buy, and it looks pretty serviceable, Jim, to be honest. Pretty good utility across the board. Yeah, they don't have any kits. So if it makes it to the mid to late round, that could be quite difficult. Outside smokes early on for Mouse being disrupted. Glaive trying to find some success over there, but Frozen. Both CT and T side has been doing such a great job of controlling a critical part of the map. The contact through the smoke. Dexter on the hard entry straight through. If you're going to set up ROPS for the trade, you're probably doing quite well for yourself.
Molotov is actually just going to push config forward, straight into the crosshair of ROPS. One plant will have time to come in. And Blame F and Lucky, there is nothing but scraps on offer for them. And I hope they're not feeling too hungry because they're going to go unfed. Even Frozen lurking on the extremities could make things difficult for Astralis to save.
Sure. Keep being a bit of a pest, but Lucky, with his back to a corner, has not got too many angles to worry about. I think his silencer might be sticking out towards squeaky doors, so he's got to kind of incrementally check that. But Mao's going to be happy with that. And I have to say, for a series that hasn't felt close, we look at the context that we now sit in here, Jim. 8 on the board for Mao's. A strong T-side economy. There is a very real possibility with the 2 A1S upgrades that they're putting together a strong game of Nuke here.
This could very well be what the series needed. More importantly, mousesports just finding their way into these rounds when their backs are up against the wall. Going to need to continue that run of play. And, well, it just seems as though Astralis are going to concentrate their forces towards outside and top site. There's 2 M4s. Are going to be outside to just try and puncture this. Oh, dear me. Frozen's taking quite a bit of damage, actually. Trying to puncture a hole in the T-side defaults, but there's nothing too urgent early on from mousesports. They're just happy to clear out all these little hidey holes, use their utility, use their weaponry to their advantage. They know that they're heading into this round with a likely upper hand. And they want to maintain that for as much of the round as possible.
Yeah, CT's just kind of looking for damage or an outside shot at upsetting in a round like this. Config trying to lock down the hut, but very difficult to spam the deagle at range like that with the new changes. Can't complete those body shot kills as easily. One of the rifles taken out as well. And Mouse not having too many difficulties getting through a round like this, and if they could do so cleanly, they're setting up their economy super nicely to continue battling their way through this half. One S retreat from Glaive, though. He's gone on a bit of a scavenging mission. Not too bad.
The beach coma. And we'll be able to save those two M4s, most importantly. So, it will be a threat into the next round. More importantly, they're going to have the utility to deal early on. That's something that we haven't really seen from Astralis in these last few rounds, is that economic, I guess, parity that we're going to start to see as these rounds go on. The loss bonus starts to accrue for them. They're going to start to be able to put together some better rounds. And you can see their economy is quite flat and has been for quite some rounds, Astralis. Mouse have done a great job of just wrestling back control of this match, wrestling back control of the economy.
Get the smokes straight off the bat from spawn. Being invested in from Mouse. They want to hit a really nice timing towards upper here if they can. Lucky trying to defend from on top of the hut. Config's on the ground floor as well. Flash coverage not quite good enough to get rid of Lucky there. Glaive dives through the annex smoke. It's all coming together for Astralis. acoR, 1 on 2 is doable for him, but he's got to pick up the bomb.
Money from Astralis is on tilt too, so acoR may not win this round, but could really pile on the hurt. That will have a flow-on effect into the next round. So from his perspective, there's a lot to gain, even just by going for this. Plenty of time to work with, plenty of map territory. And BlameF and Zipnix are going to separate themselves for this too. So acoR is going to have his choice of bomb sites.
Yeah. I mean, this stage of the round, there's a million holes in the defense. For Astralis, either they played the buddy system or they just tuck themselves in some of these one-and-done positions or corners. Molotov isn't going to tickle BlameF, so no sound cue there for acoR to take advantage of, and it's pretty straightforward. BlameF in a pretty safe position, waits for the bomb plant to come out, and able to deal with the T quite straightforwardly. So that was the half buy, no? Or are the rounds blending together, Jim? It's getting to that point of the morning, dude. I've been up for way too many hours now.
It's a gun round coming out from them, so it was one of their first rounds in quite some time. The rounds are all starting to blend in together. But, I mean, if you're Astralis, right, like you need to delve deep into the matrix. You need to now continue with this momentum that you've been able to build, put a halt to what Mouse have started to accrue. I'm going to put acoR on that T-side AWP again, so I want to see the impact that he's going to be able to have on the T side now. I just don't think Astralis is the kind of team that are going to afford him those options once they work that out. But the counter is Glaive. So Glaive wielding that AWP for Astralis, which is something not many people expected from them, this new iteration of the roster. But Config just spotting out the toes of Rops early on. That run all the way across the rafter, producing dividends.
Cross smokes there for Mouse on the close side, denying info to anyone playing close to Annex or even backside of Warehouse. Blame making his presence known in towards Warehouse side. Going to hear any of the footsteps down secret potentially. Relay that information to the boys. Glaive spam through. Dexter very ballsy to fight that angle, considering the fact that he's been legged out. But it is one way to get the Mouse boys back into contention of this round and even things up for a piece.
Lots of work still to be done here from Mouse, as they start to That push-pull in motion. Last round of flashes to get themselves into Annex. Lucky's got work to do. He's good for 3. And that is a round for Astralis. My goodness. That was looking good for Mouse, but they ran into a crossfire that could not be dismantled, and they were the ones that were put to rest. A round for Astralis that does put mousesports on that back foot. If they do not take this round, they could be in trouble. They need a bomb plan at the very least to give them options, but what a spray.
Yeah, I mean, it's a bit of a domino effect, though. You lose Rops that early on in Hut. It does kind of limit your options a little bit more. Get rid of that contingency plan. Things become a little bit one-dimensional. And that's how you get those tailored plays.
Oh, no.
That are trademarked by every little move you make. This time, Astralis recognizing some of those trademarks, some of those little tells in there that Mouse have just been working outside time and time again. They adjust the defense. They've got a rifler on the angle. They've got Glaive out there as well. Just contesting Mouse, making their life so annoying. And again, they've lost man advantage early on in the round. Dexter down to 16 HP. Mouse, they're not being proactive or assertive right now. They're still holding.
On for that regroup. Need to take territory back into T lobby. And so Astralis have a clear advantage at the moment. Oh, they're going to peek onto Config. That's a mistake. He's been quiet this game so far. However, he's awakened with 2. And Rops, with that AWP, has got so much work to do. Runs into Glaive, and that is a round that mousesports desperately needed. Their economy is just momentarily on the back foot. Their loss bonus is starting to accrue. But more importantly, Astralis string some rounds together where it felt as though mousesports had definitely got the momentum swinging in their favor. That pendulum giving them everything they needed to get back into this match.
Yeah. Now you're getting a couple pegs back from Astralis. Pretty convincing ones at that. Things are starting to look more rough for mousesports. They're on a half buy now. Very, very quick. Straight towards the ramp room, straight into the open arms of Zipnix, and you can tell from the way he's controlling that spray that is going to be a beautiful round for him. Even gets the assist on Glaive's AWP frag. And that's the kind of shutdown that's going to be a bit demoralizing for Mouse to deal with. No more room left in this series in IEM Winter for them. They're down onto potentially what could have been one of the last buys for them.
At Collat Deagle. Chef's kiss. But it was like shooting fish in a barrel. And, well, now these fish have to fight back. Having to deal with that early utility outside. Dexter and acoR just have their toes singed. Blame F, though, taking territory early on. That's a good opening set of frags for Mouse. They eliminate outside. They have territory to work with. So, taking one in Annex now. Lucky, he's going to actually take a risk here. Push through Squeaky. Oh, no. He's given away his position. And mousesports, they isolate him very quickly.
Yeah. Not quite the right timing. He had the right idea, I think. Especially in that 3-on-5. Now it's just down to these last 2 members. Or the Astralis boys. Nick's aggressing in towards ramp side. Blame's still on outer. There are still opportunities and timings for Astralis here. But as long as Mau's just dot all their I's and cross all their T's, this round's a bit of a formality.
They would have to make some serious mistakes. Astralis back in this round. acoR posted up on ramp. Does get shot off the line. That HE might catch him. This is going to dull his senses somewhat. acoR are aware of that potential for the flank. Just going to focus on that. Now, Blame F. He's got himself into T-spawn. Might be able to pick up 1 or 2 exits if he's lucky. But Mouse, they're going to more than likely survive this round with 5 players. That's exactly what the doctor ordered for them. As I said, they were in a situation where their money was quite desperate. Okay, Blame F. Going to do his best to eliminate that possibility. Oh, it's like a time crisis here. and an action sequence does not go his way. Zipnix, however, will be able to take that AK into the round. That is going to be a clear buy round for Astralis. Their money's good. They were able to accrue some rounds. That AK from Zipex is going to make things even easier. Not surprised to see the AWP from Glaive as well. Mouse still have quite a task ahead of him.
Yep, reinvestment straight back in from Astralis. Flame's going to cross the secret side. Not something Mouse have had to deal with just yet. Frozen. Been super on point, but feet spotted out. And the adjustment for Blame ends up being worth it. He's going to Under Armour flash and just slinks away into secret. The re-peek punish, though. So his hard work being punished a little bit. Rops finds the spam through the smoke. Config did make it down the vent, though. He could be a massive difference maker. He's on that headshot line, and he's having a bit of a field day, just re-peeking time and time again. Lucky straight down the vent as well. acoR, though, able to put things into a 2-on-1 in combination with Rops, but that's a bomb lost.
Ooh. Bomb in the vent. Oh. That's not a duel you want to take. Rops has taken heaps of damage here from Zipex. Here comes that Deagle. 2 HP versus 100. Rops, the smallest percentage chance. He can't make it work. That is another round for Zipex. That has Astralis on match point, series point, and they are 1 round away from knocking Mouse out of IEM Winter 2021 on day 1.
Just chaos. Absolute chaos in that round. But Zipex thrives in the chaos, man. As does Blame. And that breaks Mouse's money to some extent. They still get the AWP, but you do not want to be heading into a T-side gun round on Nuke with 7 grenades. And a bunch of Khalils.
The technical term for that is they are in a pickle.
Yep. Might be a little bit jarring for them if they don't win this round. That's all I'm saying, Jim.
Oh, it is bittersweet, though. Glaive is systematically removed from his position now. Zipex does try and take territory with a probing push through ramps, but that's not going to net yield return. Astralis now.
This 5-on-4 is looking all right for him.
Oh, that is superb. He's going to pull out the Deagle for good measure anyway. Might as well. Brings it back to a 3v3 though.
The long-range sprays from Zipnix are just... It's crazy that he's getting away with those. He's able to just drop it into the spray and still convert those frags. Time to kill for Mouse, not at an all-time high. Especially not with a whole bunch of Khalils taken into this round. Config clears outside. That's really good info for Astralis. Establishing what is clean and what is dirty and where they have to worry about, but that's going to be a little bit less nuanced with 12 seconds on the clock. Mal's trying to storm onto the site. Reverse CT vent position from Lucky. Clears out the first. It's looking good for Astralis to lock it down 2-0, and not even acoR can dig Mouse out of this one. Astralis closed down Nuke, and it is a very fast 2-0. After a lackluster best of 1, Astralis bounced back in the lower bracket.